Come on in, chill. Get some of that knowledge. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Ow.
What's up, guys? It's your girl, Kat. This video is going to be about how do you wholesale deals. So people always come to me and say, Kat, I want to get into real estate. I want to do what you do. I want to invest. So I said, look, I can charge you thousands and thousands of dollars like everybody else, or I can help you. And if you still need one-to-one, then I gotta charge for that. Okay, let's get into it. So what are the ways that you can wholesale? Well, you can always go after probate leads. You can go after what we call driving for dollars. When you get in your car and you ride around and you look at abandoned houses, you look at houses that have high grass, you look at houses that are boarded up, or it just looks like nobody hasn't been there forever. You look at absentee owners, right? Go get a real estate agent and ask them, hey, could you send me a list of absentee owners? And pick a particular area. Don't try to do 5 areas. That's too much. So pick a particular area and go for that. Or you can always do delinquent tax sales. People who are about to be foreclosed on. You just have to pick a niche starting, and then you can branch out. If you try to do all the lists that I just gave you, you're not going to have luck because it's too much, right? So, now, if you're doing like 10 or something and you want to focus on the 10, that's cool, but I would just do a list, get a list and just start boom, 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 nailing it. Now, once you get the list, what do? I tell people I would start a Facebook page, set that up, and then do an Instagram page and set that up. Now, I'm going to do business pages because you're a business, right? And even if you don't have your E&I number, even if you don't have information to start a business, just go ahead, name your business, see if your name's out there already. You don't want to have to then go change your business, right? Getting an E&I number is free, right? When you go to the state corporate commission, of course, you have to pay like $100, I think it is, and that's to say you're a business. So if you don't have any money, though, you don't have to do all that. So you can hold off on that. Now, after you set up your Facebook and Instagram, and this is important because as a wholesaler, you have to build your clientele because these houses have to go somewhere once you get them. You're not going to just like magically find a buyer or magically find the seller. So you have to like hunt it down. So if you start building your list before you need it, it will cut out a lot of headache, a lot of time, because once you get that contract, you're only going to have like whatever you put in the contract. So it's 14 days, 30 days to maneuver. So once you do that, you will then find out it'll be easier on you. Okay, so where do you look for these buyers and sellers? Go to other groups, right? Look for doctors, lawyers, people who have invested before. When you go through the tax record, look at the names of the companies or people who have 20 houses. That will give you someone who who invests, and that's an easy person just to reach out and say, hey, do you want to be on my buyer's list? Because I come across properties often in the neighborhood that you recently purchased. And majority of the time they'll say yeah, because they don't want to go hunt for the deals. You're hunting for them. Alright, so once you build that list, now you're ready to reach out to these people because you want to have an outlet so you get rid of them, right? You don't want to hold on to them. That's the purpose. Alright, so now you go and you start calling these people, finding out information about them. You say, Kathy, how do I find out? You can find out information on anybody doing anything that you want. So True People Search is one method that I use, and it's free, right? The next one is you could skip trace them. Now when you skip trace, it's a fee, but it's like 15 cents or 20 cents per lead. And you also can do like bulk leads. So if you have like a list and you put your listing right, then it will do the whole list for you. So, I mean, that cuts out a lot of time and energy researching all these numbers, trying to see whatever. Now, I'm going to tell you, just because you skip trace, it doesn't mean that those numbers still going to be good. Because a lot of times, sometimes those numbers aren't good. People are like, nah, you're the wrong person. People say that anyway, regardless if it's the right person it won't cut your time out. So it's a numbers game, right? Now, after you reach out and say, hey, my name is Kat. Well, you'll say Kathy. You don't be like nicknaming. My name is Kat. I did it again. My name is Kathy. I'm calling from ABC Investing or Investors. And I'm just trying to figure out, are you ready to sell your property in neighborhood 123 Jones Street? I came across your property. I was riding in the neighborhood and I seen that it was vacant, right? Listen, you're not trying to sell them anything. You're actually trying to alleviate and help them with getting this property off of their hands. And so often we get scared and we're like, oh, I'm clamming up, I'm nervous. Nah, these people want to sell, trust me. If they don't want to sell today, they're going to want to sell soon. Because if you're on a delinquent tax sale list, we are in a pandemic, you're going to want to sell. Like, you want to get rid of it. So, you do that spill, and then either they say yes or no. The next step is to get an appointment to get in the house so you can see how bad or how good the house really is. Now, I'll tell anybody, if you're doing this alone, you need to make sure people know where you're at. Take somebody with you. Really don't do it by yourself because anything can happen, right? So you want to think safety first. Like, money's great, but your life is better, right? So you secure the appointment, you go in. Now, number one, when you make that phone call, you're really trying to probe. You're trying to get all the information possible to get from a person, right? And then once you get that information, you want to know their pain points. You want to know, why is it that they're not repairing this property? Why is it that they don't have a renter? Why is it that, the property is boarded up or the grass is high? Majority of the time they'll tell you, hey, I was going to do work to the home, but I don't have the cash right now. Hey, so-and-so passed away. They'll tell you. Now, that is how you're going to help them. If a person says, I really want to take my family on a vacation, so I'm going to do that with the money. Then on that, be like, okay, great, I understand that. Where you guys trying to go to? And then you'll know, hey, if this house is worth $100,000, it's free and clear. I'm going to help you by giving you the money that you need to get on this trip. But at the same time, you want them to know that they couldn't do the work. You're going to have to pay someone to do the work. So that, take that in consideration when you start doing pricing, right? Because then they understand, you have a buy-in. Now they're like, oh yeah, well, I know it costs $50,000 to repair it. So if they looking for $70,000, you're like, sir, that ain't happening. So and there's a formula that you have to see for your ABR on, how much are you going to purchase the property for, right? Because you're going to take it and then you're going to flip it, right? You're going to go sell it to someone else. You're going to wholesale it. So you don't want to max out your ABR. You want to have some wiggle room because any investor wants a deal too. That's the numbers game. So if it's $100,000 to resell it, right? You want to say, hey, I want to get it at the lowest point possible, so I can make some money off of it, and boom, sell it to an investor. You want the investor to be able to make money off of it, boom, right? It's a win-win for everybody. You don't want to hold on to the property being greedy and saying, oh, okay, I'm going to sell it at 90. Well, you're going to get a regular purchaser, which is fine if you want to wait 30 to 45 days and you may not close. Why not just dump it, right? Get your 10, get your 30, get your 40,000 and be out. It's that simple. In 2 weeks, it's that simple. So after you do that, right, you get in, you take pictures, video. I do both of them. I do video and pictures. With my phone, I could just record and then boom, boom, boom. The iPhone lets you take pictures as you're recording. So then you do that. And then while you're walking through the house, take your time when it gets to those crazy areas, like when the ceiling falls in, go like, you take the picture and be like, oh, it's a leak. and then slowly take the picture, because now the person is able to say, man, I know this house is not up to par, so I'm gonna come down on the price, right? Then the next thing is, when you think about the floors, the roofing. Now I do the sevens. That's what I call them, the sevens. So in my mind, I'm like 7,000 for the heating, air, 7,000 for the roof, 7,000 for whatever, the 4 sevens, plumbing. You know, those are your major things. Now, if you talk about foundation, you're not a structural engineer. You're not, I don't know, maybe you are, but you know, if you build something with the foundation, you probably want to do a second look and have somebody else come out there, unless you get this at a solid, deep, like dirt cheap price. You know, you don't want to really, get into that. So, and then, you just kind of just flip it, but you don't want to be stuck with a house. So make sure it's like feasible, right? Or at a right price. That's all I'm trying to say. Now, you're saying like, is every deal a good deal? Every deal is not a good deal. However, every deal you can make something out of it. So if you can't wholesale it, you can do seller financing. You can't do seller financing, ask them, can you take over the payments, right? So if you got options. Just don't be like, oh man, I can't wholesale it. I can't even get $5,000. Well, ask them, can you do seller financing or whatever they want. Let them be the bank. If they're like, nah, then, go to the next option, right? But you have to research your options. And that's important. You have to educate yourself on ways to get out of your contract and ways to make your contract go through. All right. Next, once you do that, now you want to say, hey, I have this property under contract. Send them your 1-page contract. Get them to sign it. Put your closing date on it. I would say 2 weeks. Now, sometimes I do a month, depending on the circumstances. Like if they have a renter in there and the renter contract is about to be up for their lease, I would do like a month. Now, if it's like nothing, I'll do 2 weeks. As soon as you get that contract, you need to be on it. You need to now go and find those buyers, find those investors. You need to throw that property out. The pictures you took, it's gonna come in handy. So now you don't have to go back in there. Now, how do you access the property? You gotta tell the seller that you're gonna have people looking at the property. So you gotta have access to it. So either they could give you a key, they could put a lockbox on it, or they could come out there every time somebody need to look at it. Whatever, but you gotta have access, because sometimes people want to see it. Now, if they be like, nah, I ain't gonna do it, cool, right? Because if you get an investor, the investor understands, right? Like, you took good pictures, you took good video, and if they still want to see it, then okay, cool, you're gonna make that happen. Don't worry about it, because if this person wants to sell it, hey, now you want to put that person under a wholesaling contract and say that they can't wholesale it again to nobody else, right? So it's another 1-page contract, 2 separate contracts you need. Now, once you do that, you talking about, let me see. Now you want to make sure they got the money too. So when you get that contract from that investor or the buyer, you got to say, I need proof of funds with your contract. Now you take that and you send it to your attorney. And let me tell you why it's important to use an attorney. A lot of people don't want to use an attorney, but it's very important because wholesaling can be messy. So you don't want no mess. You don't want no mess. You want to go ahead and now you're going to take that and you're going to give it to your attorney and let your attorney handle the rest. You're out of it. Now, you want to give your attorney the seller's information, the number, the name. Your attorney takes over. Now, you got to get an attorney that knows how to wholesale or what you're doing, because you don't want your information to appear everywhere on there and how much you're making and all that. Now, sometimes they have to reveal that on the HUD. I mean, it is what it is. You're not lying, but sometimes, they can do like a blind HUD and don't have all your information on there. Now, next, what do? Now, you wait for closing. And then you get that check. And that's it. And you keep going, right? You working these deals every day, so you should at least try to put out 10 to 50 contracts a day, because you out there hustling, getting these leads. And then that's it, guys. That's how easy wholesaling is. Like I told you how to wholesale under 15 minutes. Peace, love, and blessings.